Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel One Night Study. So today we are going to study measurement of resistances. Resistances are classified into three categories: low resistances, which are lower than 1 ohm; medium resistances, which are between 1 and zero point 0.1 mega ohm; and high resistances, which are greater than zero point 0.1 mega ohm. So to measure low resistances, we have two methods, that are 4 terminal resistance method and Kelvin double bridge method. To measure the medium range resistances, we have VI method, that is also known as voltmeter ammeter method. Second is substitution method, and third is Wheatstone bridge method. So to measure high resistances, we have two methods, price guard method and loss of charge method. So let's first discuss about the VI, that is voltmeter ampere ammeter method. So we have a battery here, it can be AC or DC. We have a ammeter and we have a voltmeter, and the resistance is connected in parallel, that is the resistance we have to measure. So but we also can have another configuration, that is we connect voltmeter first and ammeter in ahead of voltmeter, that is our unknown resistance which we want to measure. So which method is correct, that is we will study further. So as we studied, these are two circuits which are used in VI or voltmeter ammeter method. So for VI method, we have R equals to VR divided by IR. So but this VR should be across the resistance, and IR should be purely through the resistance. But in this case we can see that VR is across the resistance, but IR is not purely through the resistance. Some part of IA goes through this voltmeter line, and some part of IA goes through resistance. Similarly, in this case we can see that IA is purely through the resistance, but VR is not purely across the resistance. Some voltage is drop across the resistance and some voltage drop is across the ammeter. So for this we will come to a conclusion that which circuit is to be used. So in this case, as you can see, the IA current is flowing through the ammeter, but this current is divided into some current in this branch and some current in this branch. So let us call this current as IR and this current as IV. So we can see IR will be equal to IA into RV upon R plus RV. That can be from the current division rule, that says I1 equals to I total into R2 upon R total. So this is the current division rule. I hope you will be familiar with it. So from this we have IA equals to IR, IA equals to IR 1 upon 1 minus R upon RV. So if we divide V by I, so we see that RA is equal to RR, that is actual R, 1 upon 1 minus R upon RV. So by this method our measured value should be equal to actual value, that is R, but we see an error coefficient as this. So we see that through this method the error comes out to be E equals to R upon R. Okay, So let us come to this method, that is V is placed ahead of emitter. So from this method we find that VR is equal to VA plus VM. So the measured value through the voltmeter is equal to voltage drop across the emitter plus voltage across the resistance to be measured. So total resistance that is measured, that is Rm, is equal to Ra, that is resistance of the emitter, plus R, that is actual resistance. So Rm, so the error is this comes out to be R equals to Rm minus Ra. So the error is Ra, so the error coefficient E comes out to be Ra upon R. So for comparison we equate both the errors in both the cases. So error comes out to be R upon Rv. If we equate it to Ra upon R, we find R square is equal to Ra Rv. So the mid value of resistance comes out to be under root Ra Rv. This is our main resistance value. So if we go for value lower than R is when less than under root Ra Rv, then we go for this circuit, and if you have R greater than under root Ra Rv, we go for this circuit. As as the R terms comes in the numerator, so we should have lower value of resistance for minimizing the error, and in this case the R is in denominator, so we should have bigger value of R to minimize the error. So we'll use this circuit. That is for our VI method. So the second method to measure the medium resistance is substitution method. In this method we have a battery, a variable resistance R, an ammeter A, and two sets of resistance R, which is our unknown resistance which is to be measured, and S, that is standard resistance known as substitution resistance. So in this we connect the switch first to S position and we adjust our variable resistance so that a suitable reading comes in the ammeter. Then now the switch is changed to R position, and now the R is not changed, and we compare the current reading that was in the previous case. When the current reading of both the cases comes equal, we say that the resistance R is equal to resistance S. Until then the resistance S is changed so that R and S are same. So for the measurement of medium resistances, we have our third method, which is Wheatstone bridge method. In this method we have three standard resistance whose values are known, that is P, Q, and S, and our unknown resistance is R. So these are arranged in the sequence as shown, and a galvanometer is connected in between position A and B. So when the voltage is applied, a current is flown through P and Q, that is I1, and R and S, that is I2. Under the balance condition, when no current flows through the galvanometer, the voltage VA is equal to VB. So when we equate VA equals to VB, we have I1 into P. I1 P is equal to I2 into R. And also we have I1 into Q. is equal to I2 into S. So this is our balance condition. So when we divide our equation first with equation 2, we get P by Q is equal to R by S. That is our important equation through which we come to calculate our unknown resistance, that is R. So R comes out to be, R from here comes out to be P by Q into S. So this is our unknown resistance. We also have the sensitivity of the Wheatstone bridge, that is given by SVE divided by P by Q plus 2 plus Q by P, where SV is the voltage sensitivity. Of galvanometer. So this is all, that is all for Wheatstone bridge. So when we try to measure the low resistances with our methods which is studied in medium resistances, we find two problems. One is contact drop and another is lead resistance. In contact problem, if we go for VI method, we have the resistances in very low value, that is less than 1 ohm, and if we connect the voltmeter across the resistance, we find the contact drop. So our resistances are okay R, and suppose the resistance of contacts are VC and VC. So the original voltmeter readings comes out to be VR plus 2 VC. Okay, so we have this error. So to reduce this error, another method that we studied is four terminal resistance. For four terminal resistance, we have this emitter and this resistance now is of 4 terminal. So these are the terminals of resistance. So this drop is reduced here. So we have this whole resistance, we can set it as another element. So this is our resistance now. This is our resistance, and we connect the voltmeter across this and the battery. So we find that the current flows through this and the voltage drop is across the resistance purely. So our measured voltage comes out to be VR, not plus 2 VC. So the error is 0. Coming next to our next problem, that is lead resistance. So when we tried this, when we connected a battery here, we find that the resistances P and Q are good, but R resistance is very small. So to handle this, the S resistance is also should be in range of R. So when R and S are less, and this is our resistance, so to connect them we connect a lead. So when this galvanometer is connected to this position, then our output will be P upon Q is equal to R upon S plus, suppose this resistance is R. For this small connecting lead, the resistance is R. So we have P upon Q equals to R upon S plus R. And if our galvanometer is connected to this position, our equation become P upon Q is equal to R plus R upon S. So in both the cases we find a major error, that is R. So to eliminate this error we come to our next method, that is Kelvin double bridge method. So in Kelvin double bridge method, the basic concept is to divide the resistance Mn into two resistance, that is R1 and R2. So when we apply a voltage here, then at balance condition, when our pointer is at C, the resistance comes out to be R plus R equals to P by Q S plus P by Q R2. So for the result as in Wheatstone bridge, R equals to P plus P by Q into S. R equals to P by Q into S. For this result to be true, the R1 needs to be equal to P by Q into R2. R1 equals to P by Q R2, or simply P by Q must be equal to R1 by R2. This is the basic concept behind the Kelvin double bridge method. So now we come to the correct or well familiar form of Kelvin double bridge method. So in this we have two known resistances P and Q, and also two resistances small p and small q, and R is unknown resistance and S is standard resistance. So this is the variable resistance and we apply voltage here. So for the balance condition, this AB voltage between A and B, VAB, must be equal to voltage through AMD, VAMD. So VAB equals to EAC into P upon P plus Q, and VAMD is equal to I into R plus I into R upon P plus Q plus R into P. So from this we get to know EAC, that is equal to I R plus P plus Q, small p plus Q into R upon small p plus Q plus R plus S. So when we put this value into this value, our original value comes out of R. So our R comes out to be P by Q into S plus QR upon P plus Q plus R, and P by Q minus P by Q. So for this result we want this whole result to be 0. So for this we want P by Q is equal to small p by small q. So this concept is obtained from this P by Q is equal to small r1 by small r2. So we change it to P by Q. So our circuit for Kelvin bridge is this, and when P by Q is equal to small p by Q, our result is R equals to capital P by Q into S. So when we go for measurement of high resistance with our traditional methods, we face some difficulties which are as listed. So first is leakage current. So our high resistance is mainly found in the insulation of cables. So when we test the insulation and we apply the voltage across the insulation, we find that the some leakage current flows across the resistance through the outer layer of the insulation. So this counts also in the microammeter. So microammeter reads the current flowing through the insulation as well as the current flowing outside the insulation. So to remove this problem, we get a three terminal resistance. So this is our terminal first, then this is second, and this is third. So this is a three terminal resistance. So also and this is known as guard wire. So when you apply a voltage here and some current flows through this branch and meets the required leakage current, so this every term as IC. So IC comes out to be IC equals to IR. So the current measured by microammeter is equal to IL, and we find the correct reading, that is E upon microampere reading, that comes out to be R, that is our insulation resistance. So we use a three terminal resistance for high resistance measurement. Another problem that comes is charging current and dielectric absorption. Since the resistance is very high, so it acts as capacitor and takes some charging current. So the value of microampere isn't instantaneous. So we have to wait for some time, like 10 to 15 seconds, so that the capacitor gets charged and the value of microammeter becomes constant. Another problem is electrostatic effect, and if any electric field is nearby, that is stray electric field, that creates problem and distortion in the microammeter. Another problem is sensitive microammeter. Since the value comes out to be in microampere, so we need a very sensitive microammeter that is very costly. This makes the measurement of high resistance very difficult. So in succession to the difficulties, we now come to the measurement of high resistance and two methods, that is price guard method and loss of charge method. So in price guard method, we have a typical cable which has a metallic sheath, an insulating layer and a conductor. So when voltage applied between conductor and metallic sheath, a current is flown which is to be measured by the ammeter. But again, there is a leakage current between insulating layer and metallic sheath, so we connect a guard wire across the insulating layer. So the current is measured between conductor and metallic sheath, which is divided by the total applied voltage, so it gives the total resistance between conductor and metallic sheath. The second method is loss of charge method. In this method, we apply voltage E and a voltmeter, a switch S, our resistance which is to be measured, and a capacitor C, high value capacitor C. So let us take this as V voltage, and when initially the switch is closed and the capacitor is charged to the voltage V, so our initial voltage for the capacitor is V. Now the switch is open and capacitor is allowed to discharge through the resistance R. So the equation for the instantaneous voltage across the capacitor comes to be V equals to capital V e raised to power minus t upon RC. So when we solve this equation, we get the value of R which is to be measured, that is 0.4343 T upon C log base to 10 V upon small v. So this is loss of charge method. So friends, we have discussed all the methods of measurement of resistance, either low, medium or high. So if you like our video, then please share it with all your friends and subscribe our channel One Night Study. Thank you.